Okay, if you haven't already gotten to this assignment right here and open up this link, not only is this link instructions and examples and all sorts of help, but it's also where you're going to do your brainstorm, which is what you'll turn in today. So go ahead and get that. And then show me your screens. Thanks, guys. Show me those screens. Okay, so raise your hand if you have ever heard of a choose your own adventure. And some of us have and some of us haven't, and it's okay if you haven't. I'm going to show you an example. So choose your own adventure is a cool kind of creative writing to actually do because the reader gets a lot more choice in a choose your own adventure, which means as the creative writer, you, rather than thinking of a story that's really just one-sided, that usually we put words on a page and the reader just deals with whatever's there, instead, this is you thinking ahead of what choices do I want to give the reader. Jack, screen facing me. And they are going to interact with your story in a totally different way. So that's kind of cool. They're almost like video games, except they're written, right? That in a video game, you make decisions that affect the game. Same in a choose your own adventure story, you make decisions that affect the story. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There's so many different types of choose your own adventure for sure. So we're going to just get a little bit more of a feel for the genre because it's its own type of creative writing. And we're just going to kind of wrap our brains around them a little bit. They've actually been around for a really long time, but not all of us have had an experience with one of them.
R.A. Montgomery, the original publisher and author of the Choose Your Own Adventure series, which is its own genre. I think he's one of the most modern genre definers and creators. We don't have H.G. Wells anymore, unfortunately. He passed away recently. So let's talk a little bit about Choose Your Own Adventure and its impact and history on the world. So they were changing the way children would read when this first was pitched in, I think, 1978 to Bantam House. And it was kind of a struggle and a push to make this happen because, of course, it's this entirely different thing. It sounds normal to us. It also sounds like the precursor to video games in a big way because this is a narrative that you yourself have agency in. So that's pretty cool.
I grew up having them, and my parents went and they knocked down the TV antenna when I was like 6 years old, and we still had like movies. Yeah, we still had movies. And now I'm in there. Take that, Mom. But yeah, these were always really nice, but I did find that the ones from my dad's childhood that kind of saved and stuff were a lot more entertaining. Because eventually you kind of run out of ideas. I did like that in the beginning. You could have 40 different endings. That it could end 40 different ways. There actually is almost like replayability of the video game. Readability. Yes. Not just because it was a good story, but because it would actually be a different story. But then later on, we were laughing about it earlier. Some of the final titles before the end of the series was like the very first sentence says, "I'm a shark."
You are a shark.
And you're like, no, that's the story. Oh, sad.
Well, this started. I think 1968, Edward Packard had the idea to do this after he's telling stories to his children, and they were more interested when they got to have weigh in on themselves on the story and be like, oh, well, I don't want to do that. I want to take the sword over there and kill the guy. And then, he'd ad-lib, go off book. And eventually he brought this idea to a publisher. They brought it to the house. And R.A. Montgomery was a big pusher of this, and then it became a huge success for a while. Huge success. 40 different endings, a lot of big stories, and they made it they started the serialized book series, which is still enjoyed by miniseries today. Goosebumps, Sweet Valley High, what? And it sells well.
Club, what?
Yes.
I remember having a Batman Choose Your Own Adventure. That was awesome.
Did you punch the guy on the left? Did you punch the guy on the right?
Exactly.
Punch it.
Bat repellent spray. Bat shark repellent spray. For when you're a shark, choose your own adventure.
I actually find that one out. Some of them have to do with like alien invasions or tomb raiding or like crazy different things. But the more I say it, I'm like, I kind of want to read the shark one.
That's probably
Okay, so we'll stop this one right here. But the idea is really interesting because I think that we don't realize how much power we have over the creative writing world, that it just takes one person to be brave. One person can come up with a new idea, and if it catches, it really can become a thing, but it doesn't happen until you're brave enough, right? But that's what happened in this situation. That this creative writer had the idea of, I'm going to try this brand new kind of writing, and I'll see where it goes. And it got really, really popular, and he made a whole living just off of a choose your own adventure. So, I'm going to show you a video example of a choose your own adventure. This is a zombie apocalypse choose your own adventure, because really, choose your own adventures can be about anything. So get ready for some really horrendous acting, but it's kind of fun to make fun of how bad it is. And they're going to give us choices that we get to choose, and then it leads to other steps.
Scarlet Waters and KCMU 5. Apparently there are numerous attacks.
Here comes our conflict. Wow. Oh, the drama. That's what I said. High quality acting here. Yeah. They're trying. It's fun. And you'll see when they give us the choice. Yeah. Yeah, I've watched the video of it. Yeah.
What's wrong?
There's somebody in the house.
Whoa, no.
There's somebody over here.
Are you okay?
Your voices, I hear thumping. Please,
All right,
please come.
I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Okay, I'm coming.
So on this one, let's choose the good one time, and then we'll choose the wrong choice next. So let's choose and this was what it would lead to if we chose save girlfriend. Okay, now let's make the wrong choice. So if we chose play video games instead of choose girlfriend, and get ready for a zombie. He's off to play video games, and this is what he gets. Oh no. So, one of the weird but kind of fun things about Choose Your Own Adventure, because first of all, I should say, they don't have to be an adventure. I had a really cool Choose Your Own Adventure one time about a girl trying to decide like who to ask to prom, and then like all the decisions of like deciding what dress to get. Like, it doesn't actually have to be an adventure. I want to start by saying that. But because some of them are very adventurous, then often in the fictional world of the Choose Your Own Adventure, lots of the endings lead to, whoops, well, you made the wrong choice and now you're dead. When I grade these, they're actually pretty entertaining because I play them as I am grading and reading. And not only is that fun for me because it's interactive, but about 70% of the time I'm like dying while I'm grading, which it's pretty weird and pretty entertaining. And that's totally fine because it's fictional, it's not real at all, and that's often how Choose Your Own Adventures work. Hold on. There we go. So, I'm going to show you some real student examples. There are tons of options of how to format a Choose Your Own Adventure. You really can't do it wrong. So basically, I'm going to tell you, do whatever you like the most. Most people do create theirs in Google Slides. I think that's the easiest, but I'm going to show you one that's not Google Slides in just a second. So this one is called Story Gone Wrong. And you've got the beginning of the story, you get to a decision point, and then the creative writer told you where to go if you make a certain decision. And so basically, it just continues exactly like that. So we've got, if you had chosen this decision, this is what you get. Then you have more options and where to go if you choose a certain option. You can see that this person wrote a ton, right? They did way more than they have to. But, just like always, this is another one of those projects to get a ton of coins on. There is no limit. I think last semester, there was one girl, I had to give her 60 coins. And I was happy to do it, but she just went crazy. She wrote way more than she had to, so I'll tell you in just a second. Yeah, I'll tell you what's required. So, this is a non-Google Slides example. I don't think it's as like user-friendly, but I really don't care. If you like Google Docs more than Google Slides, and I know we have a lot of Google Slides in my class, so if you're annoyed with how many Google Slides and you want to do this, that's totally fine. So notice how same idea, right? That you've got a little bit of the story, you've got a decision, it tells you where to go. Notice you've also got some endings on this one, right? So now that you've seen some... examples. Yep, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But yes, you can. So this is your first step today, is to basically, you're going to think about what is the story itself. Before you even start thinking about any decisions, you're going to have to ask yourself, what's the actual story going to be? Just like any kind of creative writing. Like, maybe I do want to do a zombie apocalypse, choose your own adventure. Or maybe I want to do, like, somebody being, like, they're a spy thriller mission, right? That it's almost like Agent 007, and they have to, like, find all these clues, and they're, right, like, investigating something. You could also do a murder mystery, choose your own adventure. Like, really and truly, anything goes. If it's a pirate, they're finding, like, buried gold or treasure, right? It could be, like, a cute love story as well. It does not have to be adventurous. So I hope that you'll choose something that you actually like, and that's what goes in the middle circle. You're just giving me a brief, here's what the story actually is, okay? Then you're gonna briefly, and it does not need to be complete sentences, tell me 5 possible ways the story might start branching out. Like, this is my detective and my murder mystery, then it leads to maybe this is one of the suspects. Or this is something else major that happens. Or maybe they find this really important clue. So brief descriptions of how it's starting to branch out. Then, this is going to be a little bit weird, but you're actually going to then skip ahead to the endings. You're going to think all the way, what are 3 possible ways that my story might finish? So on my murder mystery one, maybe it ends like, maybe the detective ends up getting murdered by the end, which could be a cool plot twist. Or maybe one of the endings is the murderer got away. Or maybe one of the endings is they actually found the correct criminal, right? But really, anything goes here. And all you're doing, again, do not do a ton of writing here. So many kids do. Keep this really, really brief, because you're just planning these out. So don't actually write the ending yet. Just do a brief plan. But yeah. What was your question, Molly?
Is it okay if you do a Dungeons and Dragons one, but you roll a dice to see which page you turn to?
Absolutely. Why not, right? You get total freedom. So, a couple more pieces of information. So you will turn this brainstorm in on Canvas, because I'm going to give you 10 points just for doing the brainstorm. And after you brainstorm, then the first step you have to do is, how am I going to do my story? Am I going to do Google Docs? Am I going to do Google Slides? And start with any kind of, just like normally how you would do an introduction in creative writing. Start it just like a normal short story, okay? So that's how you start it. But when you're ready to start having branches of your choose your own adventure, then it's up to you how you decide to kind of skip around and pick and choose. Sometimes there will be students who just kind of write one branch. They just keep going. Like, this decision led to this decision, which led to this decision. Sometimes people just constantly are writing both options. So they're stopping, they're writing this branch, but they're also going down this path as well. That path led to more, that path led to more. You get to choose which direction to follow, okay? So this is going to be a 3 or 4 day project. We'll probably go until Thursday. So pick something you actually like, because this is the next 3 or 4 days of your life, okay? So pick something you actually can enjoy. I used to only do this project for 1 day, and then every kid was like, no, we liked that so much more. Please give us more time for the Choose Your Own Adventure. And I think, Sam, this was your question. So the way that I end up grading this one is based on your sentence count. Every day we work, which is probably going to be until Thursday, you have to do at least 15 sentences, which is super easy to do. And that's how you get full points on this project. So as far as working with partners goes, I've actually never had a class that was so well behaved that I let them work with partners. So yay for you. So your job is to be a little strategic, though. Exactly. And one of the cool things about working with a partner is, like, one of you can be working on one of the decisions while the other one works on the other, which I think does make it easier. But if you work with a partner, each of you individually has to be writing 15 sentences per day. So it's the same story. So what I would do if I were you is I would color code it. Like, who are you planning on working with, Sam? Okay. So, like, every time you're writing, maybe yours, you would highlight it in blue. And then every time he writes, maybe his would be highlighted in green, right? And that way, when I'm grading, I can see, okay, he did 15 sentences per day, he did too. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing, I actually think I'm going to allow groups, which I know I told you no earlier, and then I thought about it. So, but I think like you'll be able to get farther into the choose your own adventure. But you also need to kind of consider, you need a lot of drama in choose your own adventure so that there's somewhere for the story to keep going and keep going and keep going. Also, your choose your own adventure, obviously you have to be getting work done. If we get to the point where for some reason you stop being amazing and you stop getting work done, then we can't work with partners anymore. Keep things school appropriate. Other than that, what questions do we have? Yes?
Should we share like the brainstorm?
Yeah, you could share the brainstorm and do it all together. Yep, but everybody does get a grade for the brainstorm, so even if it's the exact same thing as your partner or your group, then everybody needs to make sure they upload one.
Does the brainstorm matter, like doing different colors and stuff?
No, once we actually start writing. And then, so some of you will need a lot of time to brainstorm, sometimes some of you will need a little.
We start today.
Exactly, and so as soon as you're done with the brainstorm, then actually start writing your story, and yeah. Today's the brainstorm plus start your story, because that, you like, 34 minutes is plenty of time. You'll finish the brainstorm in 10 minutes and then start writing. Say again. You're turning in the brainstorm and then you're also starting your story today. Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Have fun with it though. Pick something you like. Okay, go.